What? Not following your rules of the trading area. Okay, good. See, but these are things you should be able to quote. Well, right off the head, right? You guys are all in the business of trading. Every single one of you probably saying, yes, my goal is to create consistent results. If I said, what do you want? What's your objective? What are you trying to accomplish here? Well, I want consistency. And yet, if we just establish that consistency is a function of lack of errors, you should be able to rattle off those errors right off the top of your head so that you can recognize them when you're making them, right? What's the biggest error that virtually all traders make, except for the ones who have gotten to the point where they don't make them anymore? What's the biggest number one error that traders make? What? No. I know I'm right. Okay. Yeah. And so but see, I know I'm right, but how does I know I'm right manifest itself into a trading error? What? I'll agree with everything you said. I'm just going to say it a little bit differently. What's that? Yeah. Not predefining your risk. Everything we just said, I'm just going to say it a little bit differently. Not predefining your risk. Now, I'm not going to ask people to raise their hands, but I bet there are people in this room who still will get into a trade without predefining their risk. Now, why won't people predefine their risk? Why is that so hard to do? Why do you think that's so hard to do? What do you think of the underlying dynamics are? Well, yeah, you don't want to be wrong. Now, see, when you've learned to think in probabilities, what you're going to learn, what you're going to understand is that trading is not a right or wrong endeavor. It has nothing to do with being right or wrong. But this is really important. Yes, we don't want to be wrong and we don't want to lose money. And there's a problem here in terms of the way our minds are designed to think. If I think of trading, getting into a trade as being something I can be right or wrong about, and I have not accepted the risk, meaning I have not accepted the dollar value of the potential loss that I can incur from that trade by not predefining it, or by predefining it, still not accepting it, then my mind has the potential to associate whatever's happening in the market now with something that's happened in my past. Meaning our minds are wired to associate. Meaning that if I haven't changed the way that I think about trading, I have the potential to look at any given trade as, well, let's say any given trade has the potential to tap me into the accumulated emotional pain of what it means to be wrong, or every time I've been wrong in my life. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to say that again. If I haven't redefined trading to think about it in the appropriate way, based on the way that I'm going to explain in a moment, being wrong on a trade has the potential to tap me into the accumulated pain of every time I've been wrong in my life, because that's the way our minds are designed to think. They're designed to associate. So if that's the case, little wonder that I'm going to avoid predefining my risk. Because here's what's going to happen. For me to predefine my risk, see, I don't want that to happen. I don't want to be in that state of pain. For me to predefine my risk, what do I have to do? I have to gather evidence that would suggest why this trade might not work, right? I have to gather evidence to say, okay, what are the things that could happen that would tell me, or what does the market have to look like, sound like, or feel like to tell me this trade isn't working? And I have to gather evidence to tell me that so that I know how to recognize it. But the problem is if I gather too much evidence, I might talk myself out of the trade, right? And if I talk myself out of the trade and it turns out to be a winner, then I could be in a state of agony that might be even greater than had I put the trade on and it turned out to be a loser. So how do I compensate? So I've got a mental dilemma here. I've got a dilemma. How do I resolve the dilemma? Gather enough evidence, in other words, have the trade be so technically or fundamentally sound, whatever method you might use, to the point where I have convinced myself that I'm right. And see, if I'm right, there's no risk, right?
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, so with EN, I was looking at this accumulation here, and as you can see, it came in, tapped us in here, and then left behind a fractal accumulation in that drive down. Somewhere, it's like a 5-minute type 4. It's right in there. So, just looking at that going forward. As this comes down, it's giving us some nice compression. So, sign climax, automatic rally, second test. So yeah, if we can get like a STB, type of in. I think that might be it. But yeah, that's the end. G Chef. G Chef. So I was looking to play off this reaccumulation here, and I tapped into the 80% of this drive down here. I believe this was like the BOS POI, and I only put my stop loss covering the wick. Came down into this drive here, and hasn't made a new high yet. So we'll be seeing how this plays out. NZD Chef. So we got this redistribution here with our low, and then our low, and then our high in between. And I'm looking at this last push up, taking the 80%. It's about a 7 pip stop or 8, so it's making its way up. We could see it tap in, but we'll see what happens. Could just take off. You Chef. So playing off of this reaccumulation here, it came in and tapped into that 80% of that last drive down. But it didn't make a new high. So right now we're right back at our entry. So if anyone was in this, you would be stopped out break even. But yeah. UCAD. So I was looking for an accumulation in here, but as you can see, it's still coming down. So this next area is where I'm gonna be looking for an accumulation. Might even find something to try and set a limit off of in here. So we'll see how it approaches this area. AN. So we're right inside of this redistribution right here. It looks like it's broken order flow on the 30. So if we can get maybe let's see, got a buying climax, automatic rally, second test, sign of weakness. So if we either get like a major sign of weakness or like a up thrust or something, we'll just kind of have to wait and see. CAD Chef. So it looks like it came down and accumulated right above our entry. So just looking at this, I might want like another a bigger sign of strength, but probably start looking for accumulations in this area. CAD JPY. So I was looking in this area, but it looks like it's reaccumulating up here. If it does make that new high, then we'll just start looking in this area for it to continue buying up. EA looks like it's starting to give us an accumulation. We got to change a character here. But yeah, so we'll see if we can finish out the entire accumulation. Don't really have much for this. NZD CAD. So I was looking at this small type 4 in here. It was like a 5-minute accumulation or 15-minute. And we got our sign of strength and break of the trading range and came down, tapped into the 80% of that last drive down. And so now we're just waiting on a new high. Once we get that, then we'll start looking for reentries. Chef JPY. So we were looking for this buy down here, but as you can see, it's reaccumulated again. Look at the higher time frame. We could see this come down way in here. So now we've gotten extreme. Now that we've made our new high, so I'm just gonna be waiting on this to start making its way back down. Euro GBP. So I'm looking at this entire thing as an accumulation. So I'm kind of just waiting on this to give us our sign of strength. But in the meantime, I'm taking the fractal accumulation. So like this right here, if we're able to get a sign of strength, I'll look for an entry, but that's just pretty much it for EG. UJ. So we're looking pretty bullish right now. So I'm just gonna be waiting on this to come down in here and give us a schematic. If not, obviously lower in here. But if we do get a clean distribution, I'll try to hedge. Euro Chef. So we got this accumulation here, and we broke order flow. I actually don't have this set, but it looks like it's going to tap in right now. So we'll see how this turns out. Let's see. Yeah, so I'll wait and see if we can get like a 1-minute schematic or something, but I'll be watching this one pretty closely tonight. GN. I was looking at this reaccumulation, but I really want to see it make a new high first. So if it does come down before that, oh sheesh, 21 pips. Yeah, I'm gonna be needing a schematic either way. Either way. GU. So I was looking at this distribution in here and this entire thing as a distribution and as a type 1. So we got that breakup structure from the UTAD, and I was just taking the 80%. Looking up here, looks like it's about to get stopped out, but we might be getting a distro. So if it does end up distributing and taking off, then I'll try to catch a reentry. And you missed our buy down here. So probably gonna be looking for distros in here to take this a little bit lower. And maybe even try to catch a buy move off of this reaccumulation. You're gonna have like a 10, 11 pip stop. That's a 5-1. Yeah, that's on you. CAD. So we're right up inside this accumulation here. It didn't make a new high, but just because we're on the daily, gonna be looking for some type of reaction. So that's why I got this trading range drawn out. Just waiting on a sign of strength now. So gonna see what this brings us. GJ, I am expecting a distro up here. So if we get like a fractal, it does look like it's starting to give us a type 4. So if we get like a fractal up in here somewhere, a clean one, then I'll try to take it. But that's everything that I got. If you're looking at anything, Joe, feel free to let me know. Share it. Well, if not, I'll see you in the morning, bro. Shelly, have a blessed night, brother.